And we're back, folks, right here in WrestleRant. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews, and on the show I break down every pay-per-view that I watch on the WWE Network. Through the next few weeks, we're breaking down every installment in Armageddon history, and today we're talking about Armageddon 2005, a SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view. So opening the show is JBL versus Matt Hardy, a match that was made literally at the last minute, only days ahead of the event. A good match, but for different reasons, not a traditional standard wrestling match. JBL beat the holy hell out of Matt Hardy before the match even began, choking him out with the top rope, and Matt Hardy was in a very incapacitated position for most of the matchup, yet fighting back, was on the verge of victory at several different points before JBL scored the victory with a clothesline from hell in clean fashion, but only after destroying Matt Hardy before the bell even rang. So I like the psychology of the match. It was a well-told story throughout the match, although it only went a couple minutes. I liked it, and JBL, there was not a better bastard in the business at that time than JBL himself. I feel bad for Matt Hardy. That's my only real gripe with this match, was that Matt Hardy always got the short end of the stick time and time again. He came over from Raw to SmackDown, and it didn't really change much. I mean, he was coming off the heels of the hottest push of his career, obviously, and the whole Edge feud in October. Then went on to do nothing. He came over in 2005, and he really went on to do nothing, so that sucked. But a good match, though, and a good win for JBL, though didn't really do anything to benefit Matt Hardy whatsoever. After that, we had Eminem versus the Mexicools, Super Crazy and Psychosis. A fun little match for what it was. I never really thought Eminem had victory in doubt. I always kind of thought the ending outcome was kind of obvious, just considering Eminem was fresh off of losing the tag team titles days earlier on SmackDown to Batista and Rey Mysterio. That would play into a match later on in the night, which I'll get to momentarily. But still a good match. The Mexicools, had their fair share of spots. It was a well-wrestled match for what it was. Although there was really nothing on the line here, it was a fun little match. After that, a singles match, best of 5 series. It was match 4 in the best of 7 series. Did I say best of 5? I meant best of 7. My apologies. Between Chris Benoit and Booker T for the vacant United States Championship. Chris Benoit and Booker T, their initial match over the U.S. Championship, went to a no contest, went to a draw. I think in late October, early October. And then they started this best of 7 series for the championship. First 3 matches went to Booker T. Benoit was in a precarious position here. If he couldn't win, Booker T would have become the new U.S. champion. So still, good match. These two always had great chemistry with each other. And the best was yet to come. The rest of their matches would also be very, very good. So a great match here. Benoit just barely eking out the victory to advance in the best of 7 series and to keep the best of 7 series alive and his chances at becoming the next United States champion. So still a very good match. Benoit scores the victory via submission. After that, we had Bobby Lashley taking on William Regal and Paul Burchill in a 2-on-1 handicap match. Basically what you would expect, a showcase for Bobby Lashley, hitting all of his signature spots, his power moves on Burchill and Regal. I really thought Burchill and Regal could have been more of a team, could have been more of a threat as a tag team than they were, unfortunately. They weren't. But I thought, Regal had great tag teams with Tajiri, who we won gold with. Eugene, I believe, at one point. Burchill, Dave Taylor, a very underrated tag team wrestler. But nevertheless, a fine match. Lashley scores the victory, and that was about it, just to kind of further his momentum. After that, for the Cruiserweight Championship, Kid Cash beating Juventud, the former Juventud Guerrero, to win the championship. Fine little match. It just feels like the common theme throughout all of these Cruiserweight title matches, specifically at Armageddon, but any SmackDown pay-per-view from 2004 to 2006, 7, whatever, was that the fans could not fucking care less about the Cruiserweight matches. And it's such a shame, and it really scares me that the same will happen at some point to this division on Raw currently. I really hope not, because these guys bust their ass. But maybe the biggest issue was that they were just having matches for having the sake of having matches. You know what I mean? They were just matches, no real storylines or feuds or character arcs. One person would beat the other for the belt, and that was about it. Kid Cash was great here, though. Juventud, he was alright, but I thought Kid Cash was the absolute star of the match, and it was only fitting that he came out victorious as the new Cruiserweight champion. After that standard tag team match, World Tag Team Champions from Raw taking on the WWE Tag Team Champions from SmackDown. Rey Mysterio and Batista taking on Big Show and Kane in a interpromotional matchup. Stemming from Survivor Series, when Rey Mysterio eliminated Big Show from the 5-on-5 Raw vs. SmackDown Elimination Tag Team match. So Rey Mysterio was in need of a tag team partner, and out came Batista. So the two teamed up to take on Big Show and Kane on this pay-per-view. The match wasn't really that bad. I thought it was alright. It was pretty much a television match, a television main event on SmackDown, Raw, whatever. Big Show and Kane scored the victory which I guess made sense just because they were Raw guys. They were the most powerful team. Batista and Rey Mysterio would not be tag team champions for much longer. They won the belts, maybe not for the merely sake of this matchup. No championships were on the line here, nor should they have been. But still, I thought it was fine for what it was. They won the championships only days earlier, like I said, on SmackDown, did Batista and Rey Mysterio before dropping the belts back to M&M a short time later. So fine for what it was. Win goes to Big Show and Kane. Then we get to the main event, a Hell in a Cell match, The Undertaker versus Randy Orton. I don't know if I rank this match in my top 5 favorite Hell in a Cell matches of all time. I know it's up there. I don't know if it's in my top 5, but I do really like this match. It's mostly Undertaker on offense, which kind of sucks for Orton, but it still is very entertaining, bloody, brutal, all over the place. Orton shows that he can hang with Undertaker, although, like I said, he does take a lot of punishment, so you would think that he was the babyface here and not Taker, but still. A very entertaining match, a typical Hell in a Cell match, which is always good to great regardless, more often than not anyway. And the feud was, befitting of the stipulation, just because they had faced off at WrestleMania, Taker won there. They faced off at SummerSlam, Orton won there. He won the rematch in No Mercy to bury Undertaker alive in a casket match. Taker was presumably dead, obviously not. Only for him to resurface at Survivor Series and challenge Orton to this Hell in a Cell match. So they got a lot of great time, over a half an hour. Taker scores the victory, blooding up Randy, blooding up his father Bob, Cowboy Bob Orton, scored the victory and put the feud to an end. So really good stuff here. I thought it was a great match and a great way to close off the show. But other than that, this was a pretty standard SmackDown pay-per-view, nothing really too much of note. I thought it was better than some previous installments. Still not a must-see show by any means, but for what it was, I would say check it out at your leisure, just because you have an amazing main event, a really, really good main event. You had a great U.S. Championship match, a pretty solid opener, and some alright filler matches in between. The tag team match between Mysterio, Big Show, Rey Mysterio, Big Show, Kane, and Batista was solid, albeit unspectacular. It didn't really serve much of a purpose. The handicap match was filler. The other tag team match was filler, and the opener was fine too. So the 2 hours, 2.5 hours, 3 hours, whatever, just kind of absolutely flew by. So check out the pay-per-view if you'd like on the WWE Network. So those are my thoughts, guys, on Armageddon 2005. Thank you for watching and listening per usual. I appreciate your guys' support. And as always, if you want to support the show, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. You guys are great. I'll catch you in my next video where I cover Armageddon 2006. So until then, I'll catch you folks down the road.